This is Charter Local Edition. Brad Pomerance here at the League of California Cities Convention in Long Beach. We're joined today by Joel Price. Mr. Price is the mayor of the city of Thousand Oaks, which is on the LA County, Ventura County line. And you have been a leader for quite some time on questions surrounding public safety. You are on the Public Safety Committee here with the League of California Cities. You are, is it vice chair?
Vice chair.
For the National League of Cities. You were a cop. So let's talk about what you're seeing in terms of trends with crime in the region.
Well, you know, I think it began with AB 109 that took some prisoners out of state penal institutions and forced them into county jails, which the county jails were ill-equipped to handle.
And let's talk about that. I'm glad you brought it up. When you think about criminal justice trends in the 80s and 90s, it was all about lock them up, throw away the key. Then what happened, you have a U.S. Supreme Court say your lock them up and throw away the key caused your prisons to become overcrowded, unconstitutionally overcrowded. And so we got, like you said, AB 109, which tried to decrease the prison population by sending lower level offenders from prison to county jails.
Yeah, you know, having been part of that culture back in the 80s and 90s, being in law enforcement, you know, we thought at the time that the easiest way out was to arrest our way out of the problem, and that didn't work, and we know that now. But AB 109, what it has done is taken those state level felons and put them into county jails where they can, where they will do their time. The problem is that you know, you mentioned low level offenders. You're talking about their commitment offense at the time that they're doing, you know, that they're sentenced. But a lot of those prisoners do have violent pasts, so they're going to county jails.
Right. It's interesting you mention that because you are accurate in that we're looking at the latest offense, and the latest offense may be a lower level offense. And the challenge for counties becomes they were really built, their jail facilities, to hold folks until they were sent to the state pen or while trial was pending. And now, and we're at the convention, so it's fine. And now what we see is we have these individuals serving time in county facilities for 10, 15 years.
Yeah. And that's created a whole host of problems for the county jail system. It is causing them to have to push out lower level offenders. You know, and every sheriff has to make that determination of when do we need to reduce our population. So the people who are convicted of misdemeanor crimes are being kicked out of jail earlier and sooner than, you know, if you're sentenced to 90 days in county jail now, in Los Angeles County, you might go in and then come right back out.
Let me ask you, though, about Proposition 47, because that arguably should take pressure off the county jails, because Prop 47 passed in 2014 reclassifies a certain category of felonies as misdemeanors. And so we are seeing some pressure released.
Well, first of all, with Prop 47, it was a half-baked idea to begin with, in my view. It took some felonies that needed to remain as felonies, and the state legislature is working on that, and a number of those are being elevated to felonies again. In particular, you know, date rape drugs, possession of date rape drugs.
And it's interesting you mentioned
firearms,
because there have been efforts in the legislature to tinker with 47. For example, date rape drugs, which were now reclassified as misdemeanors, and I believe those measures didn't survive as a result of veto. Or they didn't make it out.
I wasn't even aware of that. I mean, but I think that there will be another run at that. I really do believe that there will. Now, as far as 47 and its impact on county jails, I think what it has done, taking those felonies, crimes that were previously felonies, where people went to state prison, and turning them into misdemeanors, those people are now, if they're convicted, they are sentenced to county jail. Now remember, the county jails are having a problem now because of the push-down effect from AB 109. So it's effectively taking those people who used to be charged and in many cases convicted of a felony, and it's putting them right back out on the street. And that's why we're seeing an increase in particular property crimes throughout the state of California.
And I'm glad you made that distinction, because it does appear that if we can create a causal link between 109 and 47, to paint a broad brush and say all crime increases are because of those is a little harder to do.
Sure.
Property crimes, it does seem that experts left, right, and center are looking at those and saying maybe because of one on item 47. What's also concerning for some about 47 is, and I want to see if you agree, that when we had drug crimes that were wobblers, felony or misdemeanor, what the prosecutor could say is, you know what, you go to drug court, we'll charge you as a misdemeanor. We don't have that anymore because these drug crimes are all automatically misdemeanors.
Right.
So my question for you is, how is that impacting cities, for example? Because if all of a sudden these misdemeanors are out and about, opium crisis, I don't know if it's hit, opiate crisis has hit 1,000 homes.
Well, sure it has. It's hit just about every city in the nation. So, I think what it's doing is what you said earlier. It's putting those lower level offenders, admittedly they're lower level offenders.
Right.
They're not committing crimes of violence, but it's putting them right back out on the street, and that is why we're seeing an increase in property-related crimes.
Right.
Now, Prop 57 that is on the ballot, I think, is what I would view as the trifecta.
And
it's going to further exacerbate that problem.
Let's talk about Prop 57, because what that is, an initiative pushed by Governor Brown, which would provide a constitutional right to parole. As I understand it, what the concern of some are is, while the concept may be understandable, the challenge becomes is that only the most recent crime or the charged crime, not the enhancement, is considered.
Correct. So if you've got somebody that is convicted of a, let's say it's a gang offense that is a felony, and the 18622 allegation that goes along with somebody who's charged as a member of a criminal street gang, the time that they do is going to be based on whatever their charged crime is, and the 10 years that they would get for being found guilty of the enhancement of being a gang member doesn't come into play.
But let's back up for a second, because what these initiatives to me say is that there's a frustration out there.
Sure.
That with the mass incarceration epidemic often disproportionately impacting males of color, that we feel as if we need a fix. But look, in the 80s and 90s, maybe we went too far one way, now maybe we went too far the other way. So what can we do, sir, as a leader on public safety issues?
Well, I think one of the things we need to do is get our head out of the sand and recognize that we have a mental health crisis here, not just in California, but throughout the country.
Right.
And people are being diagnosed or not diagnosed on a daily basis, and they're not receiving the treatment that they need. And it is something that we talk about at our League California Cities Public Safety meetings. It's something that we, just this past week in Dallas, at the National League of Cities Public Safety Committee meeting, we discussed at length. And I think that going forward, that is going to be one of the things that the country is going to have to come to terms with. And we're going to need to do something about it. And it needs to start at the national level. It'd be great if we can work on it here, locally too. But we're going to need funding. Funding needs to be made available for programs like that. I think that you'd see people that with diagnoses would be getting treatment, and I think that the number of these mass casualty incidents, these mass shootings.
We'd love to have you back. His name is Joel Price. He is the mayor of the city of Thousand Oaks. We are coming to you from the League of California Cities in Long Beach. I'm Brad Pomerance, Charter Local Edition.